Another beautiful day, another beautiful sunset here in Morocco, a North African country, locked down since the 17th of March by a disease we don't know much about, but it's changed our world. Yeah, today I want to just talk about what I think is, I don't even know what to call it really, not even a conspiracy theory, but it's just the facts don't just add up, they don't add up. Maybe it's because, we've got so much time to do things, to think about things, but there's certain things that don't add up, basically. And one of these things that don't add up is that, we have all these people dying of this coronavirus, going to hospitals, and, 30% go on ventilators, 30% of the ones that go on ventilators survive. But how many people that get the coronavirus have underlying health conditions? Let me just have a smoke. That are normal health risk anyway. And the other thing is, how many people die of malaria every year? In Africa, malaria is considered normal. Now, if you were to put malaria in America or in Europe, it wouldn't be normal. You'd have the same kind of death rates. If you didn't have the treatment because you couldn't afford the medicine, or you didn't know about the medicine, you'd have the same death rates as they do already in Africa. 3,000 children die every single day. But yet, people still go to work. They still do their normal things. They have to, because if they don't, they will starve. They will die. So implementing this coronavirus on Africans, especially, is an extra suffering. In a place where the average earnings per day is $1. Half the continent earns less than $2. So, I'm beginning to think actually that this whole rollout of 5G, and I really was dead against it. And I still believe that, David Icke has some of his facts were wrong. For example, when he said that they rolled out 5G in Wuhan, and then the whole thing started from there. That's not true. It's been proven a false fact. But what he did bring about was actually the fact that we need to actually start investigating these big companies like Google, like Facebook, Amazon, all these mega companies that are making mega bucks from this whole thing. And we need to ask ourselves, what kind of world are we entering into after this quarantine ends? Because there's no doubt in my mind that 5G is coming. And so is AI, the Internet of Things. And that will lead to a lot more control. And certain governments want that control. Why? Because they can say, well, we don't know if you've got the virus or not, therefore you've got to have a test. We need to know if you're okay to travel. And I just see it's more of they're going to justify basically giving people either a QR code in their phone, or they're going to give them a digital certificate, ID 2020. Sorry guys. It's a poison, I know. We put poisons into our mouth every day, and I'm just having a cigarette because I'm kind of like sick and tired of sitting in the house. So I'm coming out here on the roof. It's a beautiful day today, and Morocco is shut down. They shut down on the 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day, and There's a 6 o'clock curfew here, so you're not supposed to be on the street after 6. You have to wear a mask, so it's mandatory, otherwise they put you in prison. I saw them arresting a guy just over here. 5 cops arrested a guy and chucked him in a van just for not wearing a mask. So people take the rules pretty seriously here. But I'm beginning to think, like I said, that the numbers don't add up. Okay, first of all, Fauci and his crew and Bill Gates were predicting models of millions and then hundreds of thousands if they didn't slow the curve. And now it looks like the projected figures in America are going to be the same as flu. And by the way, you need to check this out, but I've been doing some research on it. The flu statistics for this year, the deaths from flu this year has dropped. Funny, isn't it? So, like I said, the numbers don't necessarily add up. I'm not saying that it's serious. I'm not saying that we shouldn't take it seriously. But I think also that the only way we're going to really beat this thing is if the whole world basically has no cases of COVID-19, 0 cases, and we all go back to normal. But if we do that, we'll be locked inside for 6 months, and there's no way that the world's going to go down in lockdown for 6 months. That's a prison sentence, and nobody is going to stand for it. Least of all Donald Trump, because he wants to get the economy running, and America is heading towards bankruptcy at the moment. So, unless Americans, sort of start saying, hey, we can live with this COVID-19. It's going to kill maybe 1% of us, but it's a risk that we're willing to take. We've got enough treatment, we've got enough equipment in the hospitals to treat it, so the survival rate can be increased. So it's a kind of a calculated risk. So the point I'm trying to make here is this. First of all, can we live with COVID-19 or not? Number one. Number two, what's going to happen after we return to our normal everyday lives? Are we going to be kind of in this dystopian world where we've got to, show a digital certificate or something like an implanted chip every time we want to buy something or do any transaction or travel anywhere, like a digital passport? It seems to me that the mark of the beast is here. It's up upon us. And, of course, the true meaning of that, if you read Revelations, it's about how you think and how you act. So you can get 1 million chips planted in your ass. It's not going to change your spirituality. What's going to change your spirituality is how you think and how you act. So and then I heard also Sadhguru, I met him in London, and he actually came up with a theory which I find also quite plausible, and that it's Mother Nature biting us back in the ass and saying, we've been polluting the planet, we've been destroying the environment, and now this is the Earth giving us this virus so that we can depopulate, that we can get the Earth back to its equilibrium. That's possible. It is possible. It's a possible theory. Personally, I believe that this COVID-19 started in China. It started in Wuhan, in a laboratory in Wuhan, and it was leaked by accident, and the Chinese tried to cover it up. And Trump was right to question the WHO, which is funded by America, by Rockefeller Foundation, I believe, by the Gates Foundation, and other sort of questionable organizations. I say questionable because their agenda is the New World Order. It is sort of this uber world, technocratic sort of super society, which the software controls the world basically. And a lot of people in Silicon Valley believe that in this fact that the software will control the world. and we're seeing it with how dependent we are on the internet. But I believe personally, first and foremost, it's important to have faith in God and believe in something that you know doesn't change. You know, if you believe in God or not, if you believe in the Creator or not, it's not. It's a personal choice you have to make, of course. I find great solace from my faith in God, and it helps me get through the challenges in my life. And I believe that one has to have faith in order to actually live in this world, because there's so much to be afraid about. We can be afraid of anything. We can be afraid of malaria, we can be afraid of AIDS, we can be afraid of a bus running us over. You know, we can be afraid of, you know, so many things. So it's the question we need to ask ourselves today is, are we going to live in fear or are we going to live in faith? And I believe that it's time to ask that question seriously. By the end of this month, we should actually ask ourselves the question, do we want this lockdown to continue or not? Is it time to actually sort of embrace the future and say, okay, it's time to get back to work, it's time to get back to our lives, it's time to mitigate and calculate the risks and see, well, okay, are we going to stop the whole world because of a virus? And there's plenty of viruses out there, plenty of diseases out there, typhoid, cholera, yellow fever. Pick one. Go to Africa and spend some time in the Congo. But I don't buy this whole, you know, global conspiracy. And I don't buy the fact that they're trying to control us, control our freedom of speech. I don't buy that either. I took Google to court last year. I knew I was going to lose from the beginning because they're super big, but I managed to get it to the Royal Court of Appeal, which is at least I got them to spend about £10,000, and it's on the record. And now what's happening in America is that states are beginning to question big companies like Google and saying they have too much power, too much clout. It's almost like they're their own country. That's how much power they have, and we need to be questioning these things. And I think we need to be awakened to the fact that it's not a new world order that is upon us. It's a brave new world, and if we don't do something about it, we're gonna have to sort of apologize to our grandchildren and say, sorry, we didn't do anything about it. We just followed the party line. We followed what the government told us to do. Stay home, save energies, save lives. No. We need to actually stand in our own sovereignty and actually say, you know what? I'm willing to live with it. I'm willing to actually take the chance. I'm willing to live with it. COVID-19 caught the world with its pants down. Now we've had time to pull up those pants and get our act together. So I believe that we need to reopen by the end of this month. By next month we have to be open. We have to be, on the streets, and we need to be protesting about 5G if it's in your country. I think we need to do more medical research on it to find out the safety. We need to look at the ethics involved in it. I'm not saying that 5G caused COVID-19. I don't believe that shit, actually. I believe that we should question it, and I believe it's our democratic right to question it. And I think that this time of arrest that we are under, it has to end. There has to be an end to it. And we need to be careful after the end that our basic democratic rights and freedoms are not taken away from us. Because if they are, then we will have failed the next generation. We need to fight for our rights. We need to fight for our freedoms, because our right is not a right; it's a privilege. And if you don't stand up for your rights, you will lose them. It will be taken away from you. So this is what's happening now. We've been stripped of our democratic rights, and we're compliant. We are saying yes, okay, it's fine for a short period of time, because we understand that this virus is killing people. But when you look at the numbers, when you look at the statistics, they don't add up. Something's not right, and there's so much information out there on the internet, and we don't know what to believe anymore. So I don't believe that this lockdown should carry on past May, for sure. I think that we need to get back to work, we need to get back to our lives, we need to get the world moving again, but also at the same time we have to be aware that our freedoms are not taken away from us, and we don't take our freedoms for granted just because we're so afraid. No, we need to learn to live with this virus. We need to actually understand that it's a new thing in the world, and we will get a proper treatment for it. We will get a proper cure for it, or a vaccine. But let's not take it for granted that it's coming. Let's not take it for granted that everything is as what we have been told by the mainstream media. You need to question it. I've found in my own life, fighting against the establishment, that they know how to manipulate the media. But now we have independent media. More people are waking up, more people are questioning. And with manipulation of media, you can put forward agendas. It's a very deep psychology. So we need to really consider that freedoms are not free if you don't exercise them. Freedoms can be taken and they can be given away and to. So I just wanted to leave that thought with you as I watch this beautiful sunset yet again, in Morocco. Thank you.